Camping is one of the best ways to reconnect with nature, but sometimes nature connects with you first. From late night raccoon drama, frog choirs, and spider surprises in the outhouse, to forest freeloaders and tiny tent invaders. Today, we're digging into common campsite critters, the ones you're likely to meet while camping on the East Coast. Because out here, the wild doesn't mind its own business. It attempts to rifle through your snacks while judging your gear and makes sure that you know this is their home, not yours. Most campers get to their campsite around mid-afternoon, which is peak time for the daytimers, the animals that don't mind showing up while you're still unpacking snacks. While there's no guarantee you'll spot anything beyond an eastern gray squirrel, especially if you're with a noisy group, you might catch a glimpse from a distance. Keep an eye out for eastern box turtles, a slow-moving friend with a domed shell and charming orange markings. Often seen crossing trails, box turtles can live 30 to 40 years, and sometimes longer. That little turtle trekking through your site might have been around since before your first camping trip. Butterflies and bees, active during sunny hours, pollinating the plants you trampled on setting up your tent. Birds of all sizes and colors, though you are more likely to hear them than see them, and if you're lucky, sneaky chipmunks darting around the edges of your campsite. By the time you're done setting up your tent, you might start to notice the sun seekers, the ones who love heat and full sun. Common critters include dragonflies and robberflies, aerial bug assassins, wasps and hoverflies, busy buzzing pollinators, and snakes. Don't panic. Some common non-venomous snakes to keep an eye out for are the eastern garter snake, northern water snake, milk snake, and eastern king snake. We also have the very long black rat snakes that look intimidating at 4 to 6 feet long, but they're pretty chill. Remember, snakes are shy. If they see you, they'll usually slither the other way. Now, there are some venomous snakes that are worth drawing your attention to. Here in the East Coast, we have 3 venomous snakes: copperheads, timber rattlesnakes, and cottonmouths, though usually only found in southeastern Virginia. Cottonmouths are also known as water moccasins. If you see a snake, there's no need to panic. Snakes don't want to eat you. They don't even want to hang out with you. Just step back, give it space, and head in the other direction. Key takeaway: don't with snakes. That's how bites happen. The good news, here on the East Coast, you're on top of the food chain. Probably. Well, it is a food web, so as long as you're uninjured and roughly adult woman sized, you should be good. You should be. When it comes to campsite safety, only a few wild neighbors require extra caution. I've put together a free downloadable guide based on National Park Service recommendations on what to do if you encounter them. Check it out by going to diynature.org/common campsite critters. Just when you think it's time to relax with a snack, the picnic guests arrive. You've got your clingy yellow jackets, your nosy flies, and your 8-legged food critics, aka spiders. None of them were invited, but they always show up. Let's talk yellow jackets. These things aren't here to make friends. They're here for protein. In late summer especially, yellow jackets are hunting for meat and sweets to fuel their colony. But don't panic. They're not out to get you. Well, at least not while you're sitting at a picnic table. Cover your drinks. Open soda cans are basically yellow jacket nightclubs and the #1 reason for mouth stings. Remember, they're not aggressive unless provoked. So as hard as it is, try not to flail like you're in a kung fu movie. Now, yellow jackets aren't the only flying objects you'll see at your campsite. There's bound to be a totally annoying but mostly harmless fly or two. Houseflies, bottleflies, and fruit flies all have sponge-like mouths. They're after your food, not your flesh. But not all flies are innocent. Enter the villains of the buzz world, deer flies and horseflies. These guys don't want your sandwich, they want you. Deer flies and horseflies have slicing mouth parts like tiny serrated knives. They slice your skin to lap up blood. Yes, it's as painful as it sounds. They're most active during warm, sunny hours near water or woods. Bug spray and long sleeves help, but honestly, swatting is fully justified here. Spiders aren't exactly here for your food, but your leftovers attract the bugs they want to eat. So in a way, spiders are just here for your party guests. You might see a few orb weavers, famous for their big circular webs that somehow end up across every trail and bathroom path. Jumping spiders, fuzzy, adorable, curious. They might land on you, but it's not personal. Just blow them off, literally. A quick note for the squeamish. If spiders make you uneasy, you are not alone. I get it, I've been there. But here's the good news. Spiders don't attack people. They're shy, non-aggressive, and just trying to do their jobs, which usually involves eating the bugs we really don't want around. The more you learn about them, the less scary they become, and you might even start to appreciate their weird little charm. Bottom line, keep your food covered, your movements chill, and your sense of humor handy. Because at any given campsite, you're not the only one snacking. As the sun dips, we meet the crepuscular crew. That's a fancy way of saying they like mornings and evenings best. White-tailed deer appear quietly near edges of clearings. Be careful, they can attack. Don't provoke them. Skunks, usually just waking up in the evening. They won't bother you. Foxes, out and about looking for dinner. Usually on the menu are mice and bunnies. Frogs and toads, starting the night's ASMR soundtrack. These can include spring peepers, gray tree frog, green frogs, bullfrogs, American toad, and perhaps cricket frogs. That frog chorus is charming at first. Give it 30 minutes. It'll feel like sleeping in the middle of woodland rave. And then there's the snack squad. From sneaky raccoons to curious black bears, these freeloaders are more interested in your trail mix than your company. Raccoons, emerging to raid your cooler before the skunks get the chance. Virginia possum, nocturnal, but it's not uncommon to find them out at dusk. Very slow moving. Their top speed is 4 miles per hour. These critters get a bad rap, but they're actually harmless and adorable. While these gals eat tons of ticks, they can often be seen near trash bins because, you know, free food. They are scavengers. Squirrels. Yeah, I can't talk about forest freeloaders without mentioning squirrels. You'd be surprised how many you can find chewing their way into your cooler or digging in a trash bin. And let's not forget black bears, stopping by to check out your picnic basket or your trash bag. They're not picky. While you're prepping your campfire, you are bound to come across some critters, ranging from insects and spiders to small snakes. One thing to watch out for, and a good reason to wear gloves while gathering your firewood, is the black widow. Now, black widows are not aggressive, but bites can cause problems. Stay aware, not afraid. We have two types of black widows on the East Coast, the northern black widow and the southern black widow. They're both recognizable by the red hourglass on the abdomen of females. Bites are rare, but can be serious, especially for young children, older adults, or folks with health conditions. Welcome to the Midnight Circus. Here are 12 common animal night sounds you might hear while camping here on the East Coast, especially in wooded or semi-rural areas. Barred owl. Sounds like a who cooks for you, who cooks for y'all. Yes, y'all. They're often heard before being seen, and their call is one of the most recognizable nighttime sounds. Eastern screech owl. It's a descending spooky whinny or a soft trill, what I imagine a ghost horse sounds like. They're tiny, like barely bigger than a soda can, and can be gray or reddish. Easy to miss, hard to forget once you see them. Spring peeper. It's a type of frog. They have high-pitched, rapid peep, peep, peep. Despite being only about the size of a dime, they can create a deafening wall of sound in early spring. American toad. This long musical trill can last up to 30 seconds. Fun fact, each male has a slightly different pitch, so it's a full toad choir out there. Now, the gray tree frog and Cope's gray tree frog, they look the same, but they have different speeds in their trill. Interesting, cool note, they change color based on surroundings. It's like nature's little mood ring. Katydids, they have a repetitive, raspy katydid, katydidn't. You'll often hear them late summer into fall, sounding like nature's own gossip network. Fun fact, they're more closely related to crickets than they are grasshoppers. Speaking of crickets, the tree cricket, soft, high-pitched trill that rises and falls like a bell. You can actually estimate the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit by counting their chirps for 15 seconds and then adding 40. Bullfrog. This one has a deep jogarum or boom type of sound. One of the loudest frog species, actually. Think of them as the tuba section of the pond orchestra. A very uncommon sighting, but one you might be able to hear, is the flying squirrel. High-pitched bird-like squeaks and faint chirping. They're nocturnal and often glide silently from tree to tree. These last three are occasionally overly dramatic and often unsettling if you're not expecting it. Frankly, these are the ones that make you say, "What the fluff?" Eastern coyote. Series of high-pitched yips, barks, and howls, often in a chorus. Sounds like a whole pack, but it's often just two or three vocalizing together. Red fox. Blood-curdling scream and eerie wah sound. It sounds like someone's being murdered, honestly, but it's just a fox being dramatic. Raccoon. Chittering, growling, purring. If you hear suspicious rustling and trash bin drama, it's probably these masked bandits. Now, I personally feel that you haven't truly camped until you walked face first into a spider web on your way to the latrine at 2 a.m. While the orb weaver spider you just pissed off by destroying its dinner plate is harmless, having their web in your face is not. Just gives me the creeps just thinking about it. Once you get the web off your face and you're back at your tent, you might notice that some wildlife isn't so content on keeping a polite distance. Some prefer to roll right up in your sleeping bag uninvited. Yeah, talking about tiny tent invaders. These uninvited guests are mostly harmless. Beetles, specifically ground beetles. Mostly active at night, these hard-shelled critters often roam forest floors hunting for smaller insects or plant material. Often mistaken for spiders, these gentle creatures are actually harvestmen and don't spin webs or bite. They're completely harmless and more curious than creepy. Millipedes and centipedes. Millipedes are slow-moving detritivores that munch on decaying plant material, while centipedes are faster predators with many legs and a venomous bite. Both can sometimes sneak into tents, especially in damp or wooded campsites, but they generally want nothing to do with humans and will retreat if disturbed. One of the supposedly scariest campsite visitors you might encounter is the wolf spider. Ground-dwelling, fast, and built like little tanks. They don't hunt in packs, despite their name, but they're expert solo stalkers. The mamas carry their babies on their butts. Cute, but also yikes. Once you finally get back to sleep, it's time to be woken up again, this time by the birds. Do you hear that? It's called the morning melody. These are the early birds getting the worms. Wildlife that flutters and gossips through the trees while you're sipping coffee. It's a burst of birdsong that happens in the early morning, usually starting 30 to 90 minutes before sunrise. Scientists have identified several reasons why birds are most vocal at dawn, but to me, it all boils down to,
I'm alive. Ha ha, that's right. Not dead. Hey, Johnny, you're dead?
Nope, still here.
Hell yeah. Thought I saw a raccoon sniffing around your branch last night.
Dodged him again. That's 3 nights in a row. I'm basically invincible now.
That's what I'm talking about. Aw, damn.
What? What happened?
You know Ed, that annoying house sparrow across the street? He must have made it through the night again. I hear that off-key squawking of his.
and that's it. Bragging about not being dead, reclaiming territory, and trying to get your voice heard before the humans start drowning out everything in the natural world. Now I could rattle off a list of birds that you'd hear during your morning medley, but that might get a bit complicated. There are over 400 bird species along the East Coast, and unless you're secretly a field guide with legs, I highly recommend downloading the Merlin Bird ID app. That way, while your coffee's heating up and the birds are busy being dramatic in the trees, you can figure out exactly who's singing. So after a night of raccoon drama, amphibian raids, spider ambushes, and owl opera, what have we learned? Camping is one of the best ways to reconnect with nature. But nature? Oh, it reconnects right back. Whether it's climbing in your tent, singing at 5 a.m., or judging your snack choices, these creatures aren't just passing through, you are. These forests, fields, and creeks, they're not quiet, and they're definitely not empty. But if you pay attention and you listen closely, you'll start to notice a rhythm, a whole community, a little wild world doing its thing, whether you're watching or not. They're not here to freak you out. They're just here, living their weird, fascinating little lives. And the more you learn, the less scary, and honestly, the more magical it all becomes. So the next time you go camping on the East Coast, remember, you're not alone out there. And that's kind of the point. If you liked this video or found it helpful, hit subscribe for more backyard ecology, camping wildlife tips, and weird nature deep dives. Oh, and don't forget to grab your free Campsite Critters downloads at DIYnature.org. Thanks for watching.